name is Mike Mullins. This is Oak Hollow Lake in High Point, North Carolina, and we're on a Hobie T2 with the Nacra out at the moment, with no wind, which is typical for Oak Hollow, even though they promised us 15. Stupid weather, man. And you're watching Joyrider TV.
Yes, that's right. It's Joe here for Joyrider TV. Thanks very much to Mike for that strong introduction. And I think we've had a little sneak preview of what is to come there. Thank you, Mike. So what's been going down in Vasiliki Bay this week? Well, in case you missed it, we started off the week by taking a look at some rope management solo on the 16. Of course, these techniques could be applied to any other different type of catamaran, but a very useful look at how to manage the main sheet, the traveller, the jib sheets and everything else when you're on your own. Then we had the Q&A live from the boat park on Wednesday, which did end up being in complete darkness. Of course, more recently we just had possibly one of my final speed runs solo on the 16 of the season, which you can check out just here. Well worth a look. Some fine multicam action with crystal clear microphone studio quality audio. So yes, Show Us Your Cat, where we're going to take a little look around the world at your boats and where it is that you sail them. And I think today could only be called Boats with Skegs Special. That's right, no asymmetric hulls, no dagger boards, no centre boards in this edition of Show Us Your Cat. I think without further ado, let's jump in and take a look at what we're going to be featuring on this week's Show Us Your Cat on Joyrider TV. We're starting off this week by heading to the east coast of the USA, to Narragansett Bay and Fisher's Island Sound in New England, where we have Colin. Colin has got a built-in Florida 1993 G-Force 21. The G-Force 21 is quite a rare boat, originally built for the famous race on the east coast of the USA, the Worrell 1000, where it performed extremely well. The G-Force is one of the early catamarans which were called super catamarans, which were the bigger, more powerful boats than the more commonly seen smaller boats like the Hobie 16, the Prindle 15, 16 and so on. It has no boom, no dagger boards, and it features this great looking trampoline between the bows, so in the lighter wind, great comfortable ride, and on the beach as well, nice for a bit of a sunbathe there as well, I should think. The G-Force 21 is very fast, dry and very comfortable, and in the early Worrell races they were actually beating Tornadoes with the G-Force boats. Now the sails featured here are the original 1993 sails, and since then Colin's got hold of a set of Glasser Pentex sails with a square top main and fully battened jib, really modernising this classic boat. With the better cut sails, made handling the 21 a lot easier, as well as a 12-to-1 main sheet system. That's going to help. Now here we can really see the shape of the hulls with the boat sitting on the trailer and those deep skegs. Colin's boat was actually featured in the 1993 edition of Sailing World magazine, where they were comparing the different Supercats at the time, and I think the G-Force was obviously looking like one of the favourites. The G-Force is a historic boat that can only be found in the USA. They have got a Facebook page if you want to see more about the G-Force catamarans. But thanks very much, Colin, for sending us those pictures and video of your great looking G-Force. Next, we're taking a trip across the Atlantic to the Netherlands, to Holland, to Veluwenmeer near Biddelinghuizen, where we have Tom. Tom has got a Dart 15, and what I think you'll immediately see is no, she's not particularly class legal. Tom thinks it's a pre-2000 boat. He's not sure of the year, but the boat is in extremely good condition, as we can see. The square top mainsail here is clearly not original. This is actually from a Topaz 14 catamaran, and we can see that with this mainsail it's now possible to reef down the main if Tom's going to be out sailing in particularly strong conditions. But what Tom would need to do is devise some method of cleating the halyard for the mainsail, because there wouldn't be a second lock. He's upgraded the trapeze system to a cam cleat system because the original V cleats were slipping. He's replaced the downhaul with an upgraded race downhaul system with more purchase, so you can get more on. But I think you'll agree this really is a superb looking Dart 15, loving those hull graphics as well. So thanks very much, Tom, for sending us those pictures of your boat. Hope you're still getting a bit of sailing there in Holland. Hope it's not too cold just yet. I think there's some good wind about at the moment. Okay, next we're heading back to the USA to check in with our roving reporter, Jeff. What have you got for us this week, Jeff?
Happy Sunday, Joe. I'd like to share another boat from my trip to Oak Hollow Lake in North Carolina. I'm way more excited than I thought I would be to show you Mike's Hobie T2. Let me explain. I want to go as fast as possible at all times, and I had it in my head that the roto-molded Hobie T2 would be boring compared to the Hobie 16s where I spend most of my time. It may be true that the T2 isn't the absolute fastest catamaran ever made, but it sure was a lot of fun and a very comfortable ride. When I arrived with the Sea Scout's Hobie 17, Mike had already backed the T2 down to the water to set up before using beach wheels to get it to the water. He has devised a pretty ingenious mast stand and electric winch system to make raising his mast a simple single-person affair. After getting his T2 ready to sail, Mike was kind enough to use his Hobie 17 experience to help us rig the Hobie 17 that was just donated to the Sea Scouts. We had never rigged a 17 and needed all the help we could get. We launched Mark and Evan on the Weta, you saw them last week, then Laura and Dave on the Hobie 17. Then Mike took me for a joyride around Oak Hollow Lake. The breeze was fairly light, so no need for trapeze harnesses on this day.
What would Joe say? Oh, I see a juicy gust over there. Like you promised me beans. Where's beans? My one requirement, I don't mind if you hit the other boat. You just have to yell ramming speed before you hit it.
We're going for the 17th. Take it out.
Wait, the 17th mine-ish. We don't want to hit my boat. Come on, hit the other boat.
That's the only boat I can take out.
Yeah.
If we're going to do ramming speed, something's going down.
Yeah, good point.
I don't want to pay for one of those Wetas.
Yeah.
Interesting story. I actually didn't make it all the way back to shore with Mike on this trip. I had to trade with another Sea Scout leader to try to limp our Hobie 17 back to the beach. Thanks to Mike for so graciously taking me sailing. Finally have wind, and the boat won't work. as well as the great tips and tricks shared during setup, underway, and even back on shore. In addition to Mike, I got to spend time with Mark and Tom and their crazy trimarans, and even tricked Curtis into letting me take his brand new cat out for a solo spin. More on that next week. And big surprise, I even met the Knack Daddy himself.
Very nice indeed. That is actually my first proper look at a T2 from Hobie. I think I did see one once on a boat show stand, but it was parked next to something quite exotic, which might have stolen its thunder a little bit. So thanks very much, Jeff, and thanks to Mike for entertaining Jeff there on the T2. And of course, thanks again to Tom and to Colin for sending in the pictures of the Dart 15 and the G-Force. Nice to have such a wide, varied range of catamarans on this week's Show Us Your Cat. If you'd like to be featured in an upcoming episode of Show Us Your Cat, then you certainly can. All that you need to do is send me some pictures, maybe some video of your boat. Give me some information like where it is that you sail, who you go sailing with, and perhaps if you're doing any events, perhaps if you're doing any special trips, or perhaps if you just like getting out there and sending it, or if you perhaps just like getting out there and going fishing, or perhaps camping on your boat, anything at all, just send me an email. All the information is in the description below. Just check it out there. While you're down there, just don't forget to give the video a like. By giving the video a like, it means that more people will get to see this video. Thank you very much for that. Of course, still ongoing, we've got the speed stick that's running. Just 2 months left to run on this speed stick, which has been running since the start of last year. And then at the end of the year, we'll be resetting the speed stick so that then there will be a chance to get into the top 10, because right now I'd have to say it is looking pretty tight up there, especially the top 5 positions. Also, what else is going on? I think that is actually about the size of it. As ever, thanks very much to everybody who's been supporting the channel and continuing to support the channel through Patreon. Thanks to everybody who's been shopping at totaljoyrider.com. If you go to totaljoyrider.com, you can order a nice t-shirt, perhaps a hoodie. These make excellent gifts. But if you are thinking of getting something from there for Christmas, do get in there soon. I know it's a bit early to be thinking about these things, but get in there soon, because especially once we get into December, the delivery times can be a little bit juicy. So there we go. There's the top tip. Anyway, be back next week with more Show Us Your Cat, and we'll be back on Wednesday with more Q&A from the boat park, in the dark possibly. But anyway, thanks very much, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon with some more on Joyrider TV. Thank you.